Shae Russell from mining.com.au, and joining me today is Saf Dhillon, the President and CEO of QuestCorp Mining. Saf, it's great to meet you. How are you?
Hi, Shae. Thanks for having me, and I'm great, as I hope you are as well.
I certainly am. Saf, before we kick off today and find out about what QuestCorp Mining is up to, I wouldn't mind talking a little bit about you and your background, because I often find people have had some very interesting pathways into mining.
Yeah, myself. Okay, I actually got my start really in I guess the banking industry on the retail side. Worked for actually about 7-8 years for one of the largest credit unions in Canada. I was basically one of the initial wealth management advisors at the time. And then I began my foray in the public markets actually in specifically July 15, 2004. And I was very fortunate, got to work with a good group of guys, both in Canada and the US. Was involved in I guess, a gold mining company, been involved in oil and gas, and more specifically, I was actually involved in the development of a renewable energy company, specifically a geothermal company. And that company, I was basically engaged with that project and that company from about a $2 million market cap level, where we started with just a couple of dozen abandoned reinjection and injection wells in the state of Idaho in the States. And over that decade to 12 years that I was involved with the company, we actually had designed, developed, and put into production 3 industrial scale geothermal power plants. And in Idaho, Oregon, and Nevada, grew that company to about a 350 million US market cap, doing about 150 million in revenues. And then how I got involved with QuestCorp, I believe, was your next question. I got asked basically to get involved with QuestCorp about 3 years ago, when some colleagues of mine had identified a project that we have actually listed our company on in December 2023. It's a copper project on Vancouver Island. I'm based here in Vancouver, British Columbia. This project on North Vancouver Island is a copper-based project. It's in a great location. The region hosted one of Canada's largest copper mines that was owned and operated by BHP at the time. It's now, of course, been shut down for a number of years, but within the last 3 to 5 years, there have been a number of our junior peers that have basically re-entered this region. And one of our peers now actually has built a $100 million market cap, and it looks like they have a defined resource, and they've brought some reinvigoration back into this region. So we're pretty excited about our future.
Now, I know the entire mining sector is descending to Toronto next week for the largest mining conference in the world, that is PDAC. You're taking yourself and QuestCorp there. Tell me, Saf, what do you expect to gain out of PDAC this year?
Yeah, you know what, Shae? It's funny. I've been going to PDAC off and on, I guess, since about 2005. And actually, we went with QuestCorp specifically last year. It's one of those things, like you said, it's one of the largest, if not the largest, mining conferences in the world. And essentially, it's a great place for you to connect with investors, both past, current, and potentially new investors. And if you're somebody like QuestCorp, where we're still a relatively new company, less than 13 months as a public company. As I mentioned, we IPO'd in December of 2023. And, we're always looking for potentially some new exciting projects. There's thousands of junior companies globally now, but even specifically in the North American markets. A lot of these companies are in flux or in transition periods. Some companies might have had success with a certain project. They might have another project that they can't, they don't have the bandwidth to develop 2 assets. So I think it's a great place to mingle, definitely. And it's a great place where you can sometimes find opportunities that you might not have had if you hadn't have bumped into somebody. So I think it's a great place to be at.
Listen, Saf, I'm certainly jealous that you are going to be there this year. Hopefully, I can join you next year. Thank you so much for being here today, and I cannot wait to see what QuestCorp does next.
Thank you, Shae. Thanks for having me, and look forward to seeing you guys there at the following year.